Hello everyone, and welcome to Slowpoke Racing with me, Mark, and the Ultimate Racing League, and we are here with the League 2 guys for our Wednesday evening challenge, in which we are in the Porsche 911 GT3, and we have reached round 8, so we are drawing very close to the end of the season. Only 2 more left after this one. So yeah, it's been a great season so far. We've come to Austria for round 8, and we are at the Red Bull Ring, the famous Red Bull Ring, home obviously of the Red Bull team. Now, just before we get started, I do want to give a big shout out to our sponsors for this season who have joined us, and that is Dubby, and that is dubby.gg. If you head over to their website and check out their products, they are the energy drink for gamers. If you enter the code URL7, you could bag yourself a bit of a bargain on some of their products. So do head over and check them out, and it's great to have you on board, guys. It really is. The other thing I just want to say very quickly as well is, if you do like these videos, then please hit that like button, and if you haven't already subscribed, then if you would do so, that would help us out a lot, and we really do appreciate it. And everybody that has subscribed as well, again, I really do appreciate that. And also, just before I get too far into it, I just want to mention, I do say it every week, I cover the League 2 guys. Shaggy, actually on the grid there in second, he actually covers the League 1. So if you want to see what's going on in the League 1, then head over to Shaggy's YouTube channel at Mystery Inc. Racing, and you can see what's going on over there with the League 1 guys. So on to this race. As I've said, we are in Austria at the famous Red Bull Ring. Week 8. Now, after, and I'm just looking for it now, after week 7, if you remember, if you tuned in last week, you saw we were at Spa. Great racing at Spa. So I'm just going to run down the league table after week 7. So just going into this race, we've got Brian out in front on 344 points, Hodgie in second on 302 points, Declan in third on 294, so not that far behind Hodgie. Shaggy is in fourth on 243, and Graham also on 243, so joint sort of fourth for them too. And forgive me, our phone is bleeping, I should have muted it, and I apologise for that. So yeah, we've got Shaggy and Graham tied on 243, so not a lot in it really from second down to 5th. So yeah, all to play for, as I said, with including this one, 3 rounds to go. So let's crack on with this one. The guys have been out there, done the qualifying, so let's have a look at the grid. So as we look down the start finish straight towards turn 1, and the famous Red Bull Bridge just in front of us with the lights on red, let's just pan round so we can now have a walk down the grid and see the order after the qualifying. So as you can see, we've got Brian Moncani in pole position. Shaggy has found his way into second, just behind him. Graham, fantastic qualifying from Graham to get into third. The Big Mac is in fourth, Slowpoke in fifth. Then we've got Stealth in sixth. Hodgie finds himself in seventh position on the grid. Firepower just behind in 8th. Then we've got Kebabmans in 9th, and then in 10th position we've got Nath. No Declan on the grid. There were some technical issues. Declan was here. We've got some technical issues that's prevented him getting in, but I'm sure he will be back for the later races. So let's just head back to the front, over the bridge, and let's get this race started, shall we? Let's get them lights out and let Brian lead us into turn 1. Now, I didn't go through the track like I normally do. We've done Red Bull track to death, I think, so everybody's pretty familiar with it. There are some points to look out for. In fact, I've renamed the track to Penalty Plaza, because that's what it is. And to prove a point, you can see Shaggy's already picked a penalty up. We've only took one corner. So as they head through Remus, which is turn 3, I think it's turn 2 myself, as we have a few cars going off. Hodgie going off there at the back, so let's just have a quick run down, have a go back and have a look and see what happened to Hodgie. He's putting a challenge in on Firepower, and I think he just couldn't get that car stopped. Firepower went off with him. Both back on track, or a bit of door bashing with Stealth. But we are all facing the right way. Slowpoke, not a fantastic start. Down in 8th, he started on 5th on the grid, now down in 8th alongside with Hodgie. 4 or 5 cars there right in the mix. Firepower's in there in 6, good start from him. As I was saying, there's Penalty Plaza now, this track's going to be known as, and it's turns 1, 3, 9 and 10 that are the main danger zones, shall we say, for picking penalties up, although you seem to be able to pick them up anywhere on this track. Well, I did anyway, as you'll see. So we'll just follow the who was that? Was that Firepower? I think it was Firepower going very wide. That's probably a penalty for him. It is. He's got a half second. Nate's got a half second. Hodgie still down in 8th. You've got Kebab Mans as well with a penalty. So like I say, Penalty Plaza. Hodgie not having a fantastic start to race 1. He is on the mediums. I think most of the guys opting for the mediums in race 1. So let's just pop back up to our leader. Somebody who hasn't gone for mediums is Brian. So it'll be his usual tactics then for Brian, I would imagine. It's softs and mediums. He's going to definitely go for the 2 wins, as his usual tactics are, and they've paid off pretty well for him so far. As it does now, he's trying to open up a bit of a gap back to Shaggy, but Shaggy's having none of that. Shaggy also on the softs. He's going to try and stick as close as he can to Brian, not let him get away. Graham in 3rd. Having a great start to this race is Graham, especially on the mediums. He seems to like the mediums better than the softs. So the Big Mac in 4th. Stealth in 5th. Everybody spreading out a little bit now. These penalties are starting to kick in. As you see, Hodgie's made his way up to 6th. As everybody's serving penalties. As they take turn 10, the Red Bull Mobile onto the start-finish straight to start lap 3. So Hodgie and Slowpoke putting Hodgie under a bit of pressure into turn 1, Nicky Lauda curve, as they head up the straight and through what is classed as turn 2. It's more of a kink in the road. Hard on the brakes at turn 3. Slowpoke not close enough to make a move on Hodgie. Kebabman's made his way into 8th. Then we've got Nath and Firepower. I think he's got another penalty. Everybody seems to be picking penalties up on this track. As Firepower makes a move on Nath. Nath on the inside. Firepower's going to have to go the long way round, or is he trying the cut back? Can't quite get it done there. He is carrying that penalty, so even if he does get past Nath, he'll end up giving that spot back anyway. Oh, as Nath gets a bit of a slide on there, so Firepower, you can see the bar starting to fill up, so he's going to be slowing down, so Nath should be able to stretch away a little bit. Brian still out in front, and Shaggy is still sticking with him. Graham and the Big Mac fighting it out for 3rd. So into Nicky Lauda curve, turn 1. If you drift too far to the left, that's where you pick a penalty up. Graham doing a fantastic job. You can see the Big Mac, he definitely picked a penalty up at turn 1. So Big Mac also on the medium, so he's having a decent start to race 1. 3 races for you today, each 15 minutes. Here at the Red Bull, we've got this one that's taking place now. It is late morning as the Big Mac makes a move on Graham. Graham staying on the outside though. Still with his nose in front is Graham. And as I say, the Big Mac is going to have to serve that penalty anyway. So a little bit of fighting here is sort of a waste of time really. You're wearing your tyres out for nothing, guys, because Big Mac's going to have to slam his brakes on anyway, as he does. Yeah, so 3 15-minute races. Medium tyres have to be used in at least one of the races. The next race is going to be in the afternoon, and then after a bit of a break the guys come back for a nighttime race. Well, that's what's scheduled anyway. If we can get out a little bit earlier before it gets too dark, I'm sure the guys will. As Stealth goes through in 5th. Now it's Hodge's turn to pick up a penalty. Still got Slowpoke for company. So Hodgie, Slowpoke 6th and 7th. Now Slowpoke can get a little bit closer to Hodgie. When he serves that penalty, he may be able to nick that spot from him. The only fortunate thing on this track is that the penalty zone is not in too bad a place. You don't actually lose a massive amount of time with a half-second penalty. You can pretty much keep your momentum going when you serve your penalty, so it's not too bad. But as I say, if Slowpoke can get a lot closer to Hodgie, he would be able to nick that spot from him. So we'll just follow these two through turns 6, 7 and 8, and then on to the penalty zone. They're just approaching it now. There, so Hodgie's brakes get slammed on, but I don't think Slowpoke's going to get close enough. Let's go on board. I was going to go on board with Slowpoke. There we go, we're on board with Slowpoke as we try and chase Hodgie down. Nothing behind at all, so there's no pressure coming from Kebab yet. Now it's all about the exit on turn 1, and Slowpoke got a much better exit than Hodgie did on that, and has enabled him to take the spot away from him. So Hodgie slots in behind into 7th. As we come up to turn 3, this tight right-hander, Slowpoke having to defend on the inside, Hodgie all over the back of him. Then we've got Kebabman's in 8th, Nath down in 9th, carrying another penalty. Firepower in 10th, can't quite get by, although he will now, I'm sure. So let's just drop back up and see what's happening between these two. So Slowpoke just holding on to that 6th spot. Hodgie though right up the chuff, pushing him all the way, trying to force an error. Stealth in 5th. These two catching up with him. Although Stealth will have his sights set firmly on Graham in front. Stealth on the mediums as well. So as I say, the mediums seem to be performing quite well at the minute. Big Mac still in 3rd, Shaggy with a penalty, what a surprise, and Brian out in front. I'm not sure if he's had any penalties yet, he probably hasn't, which is why he's out in front, and he's got quite a gap. So Brian doing his usual thing, and that's getting out in front and staying there. Oh, and Slowpoke's picked up a penalty, so that's not going to... Oh, and he's on the grass as well, and turns round, and that's his race over with. So, after a mistake from Slowpoke, Hodgie now retakes that 6th position and says thank you very much. Kebabman's also slipped through the door and has moved up into 7th, Slowpoke 8th, Firepower 9th. Everybody's got penalties at Penalty Plaza. Nath, there we go. It's just, let's just everybody go around with a little red sticker above the roof. The only person not, I think, is Brian. Shaggy in 2nd. Just about to see Brian up ahead as Brian goes through turn 1. Shaggy now going through that turn. Nicky Lauder curve. Having a great race is Shaggy. He's really, really come on this season and started challenging the boys at the top. So Shaggy currently in joint 4th with Graham at the minute. So with Declan absent from this race, this is not going to harm his cause at all, is it? Big Mac in 3rd. Oh, it looks like Graham and Stealth are having a bit of a battle. Now then, what's happened to Graham? Because he was 4th at one point, wasn't he? Yes, he was. Now then, was it a mistake by Graham? Yes, it was a mistake by Graham. At turn 1, he managed to save it and keep going, but that's cost him a spot. Stealth saw the opportunity and dived through it. So that's Stealth now up into 4th. Although Graham's trying to get the spot back by taking up the inside line, can't quite get it done. Stealth keeps his nose in front. Graham's got about 2-3 minutes, so probably another 2 laps as he goes up the inside and gets on the grass. Oh no, Graham! Oh, he's managed to save it, and he's still going. This is great driving from Graham. He really desperate to get that 4th spot back. How he managed to keep that facing forward, I don't know. Fantastic car control from Graham. We've got Hodgie in 6th. Now all the while these two are fighting it out, Hodgie is getting closer and closer. Kebabman's all on his own in 7th. Slowpoke all on his own after he came off earlier on. And then we've got Firepower and Nath. They seem to be the penalty boys today. So back up to our leader Brian, looking very comfortable. Shaggy in 2nd. These two, I don't think these two are going to get caught at all. Big Mac in 3rd. As long as he keeps it clean, he should be okay. Graham has got himself into 4th, although he has picked up a penalty in doing so. That was probably turn 1 again. This is going to get interesting for a finish now though. We've got Graham in 4th carrying a penalty. We've got Stealth just behind and Hodgie in 6th. So let's go on board with Stealth. You can see we've got Hodgie creeping up. Now then, what's happened to Big Mac? Shall we go back? Yes, we shall. Let's have a look. Because the Big Mac was out in front by a long way and looking very comfortable. I probably shouldn't have said anything, should I? But let's just see what happened to the Big Mac, because all of a sudden the boys were on top of him. As we're approaching turn 4. Now then, did he get it wrong here? He did. He's onto the grass. Now, there was a good save in the end, but that has allowed these 3 guys to get up right onto the back of him. So, with about a minute and a half to go, Big Mac, who was sitting comfortable in 3rd, has now got the pressure of Graham, Stealth and Hodgie. Graham with a half-second penalty. So let's go back on board with Stealth again. Currently in 5th. Hodgie just behind. Graham serves his penalty. Stealth goes through to 4th. Graham will slot in behind as Stealth desperately tries to keep it within track limits. And he is after the Big Mac. Let's just switch cars and go with Graham through the Niki Lauda curve. Oh, now then, that was very wide, and Hodgie is alongside now. Where's he gone? There he is. We can just see the bonnet as Hodgie pulls alongside Graham as they race up to turn 3. Now where is he? Where's Hodgie? You just see him in the mirrors. He has to slot in behind. It's a great race between these guys. I'm going to have to go back up to Brian, see where he is. This is going to be his last lap. He's done nothing wrong there. Shaggy's still in 2nd, so this is where the fight is. I'm going to come back to Brian in a second. The Big Mac managing to hold the boys off. It's Stealth, Graham and Hodgie though. Now then, I'm going to go up and follow Brian as he crosses the line to take the win. Celebratory flash of the lights. Well done to Brian. Shaggy coming in 2nd. Fantastic race from Shaggy. Now this is where it's all happening. The Big Mac, if he can get round turns 9 and 10 without any incidents, he was going to finish 3rd, and he has. Well done to him. Stealth right on his tail. Graham right behind him. So it's Stealth, Graham, Hodgie. Fantastic finish to race 1 for those guys. Kebab Manzi's going to come in. It's 7th with Slowpoke a disappointing 8th after the start he had. Firepower in 9th. He wouldn't have enjoyed that. In fact, he's actually going to slow down and let Nath take the space for him. So well done to Firepower. He's let Nath have the points there. So that was race 1. Join me very, very shortly for race 2 here in Austria at the Red Bull Ring.